So the Xiaomi Mi A2, Xiaomi Mi6x have officially been launched, and my previous video talking about the specifications were actually wrong. However, they did leak this phone like crazy, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why they did that. There is a reason for leaking this phone like crazy. I'm also giving away a pretty cool cell phone called the Xiaomi Z2 Pro with NFC wireless charging, as well as 17 global LTE bands, a truly global phone. So be sure to check out that giveaway in the description down below after you finish watching this video. So first, let's start with the specifications. This has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 660 processor, a 6-inch 1080p IPS LCD, 4 to 6 gigabytes of RAM, and 32 to 128 gigabytes of ROM. The Mi6x is going to come with MIUI 9, and the Mi A2 is going to come with Android 8.1 Oreo. It's going to have an IR blaster, which is honestly kind of useless nowadays, and a micro SD card slot, and no NFC. It's also going to come with a 12 megapixel, 20 megapixel rear dual camera to the IMX486 sensor. And the front camera is going to be 20 megapixels with an IMX376, which is actually pretty sick for a front camera. A little bit overkill in my opinion, but you know, there's never too good when it comes to cameras. And it also has a 2910 milliamp hour battery, which is in my opinion a little bit small. Talking about price, that's actually the most interesting part about the Mi A2 / Mi6x. And just a price, it's going to be $237 or about $250 US, and it's going to be about $200 Euro, which is actually very, very cheap for a Snapdragon 660 phone. I was expecting these prices for maybe a Snapdragon 636, but not a Snapdragon 660, and I'll talk more about that later. So I'm actually very glad that Xiaomi didn't put glass on the back of the Xiaomi Mi A2, or I would have been extremely upset because I really don't like glass phones. Unfortunately, most of my daily drivers have been glass phones. You know, Mi Note 3, Zux Z2, Smart Note Pro 2, they're all glass backs and they're all fragile and you have to really baby your phone if you want to keep it for a long time, which kind of sucks. Metal phones you can be a lot more careless with and you don't really have to baby it, which actually lets you fully use the phone instead of having to carry it around like a baby, which can be kind of annoying sometimes. In terms of other specifications, it's actually fairly light, 165 grams, which is not bad considering it's a metal phone, you know. But that being said, I do have a friend who did mention that Xiaomi phones have thinner metal, which is, you know, it is true, but it's not something that affects me too much. It's still a good looking phone, well-built phone most of the time, so really no issues there. It's also going to be 7.3 millimeters thick, which is very good for a cell phone as well. Moving on to the display, it's going to be a 6-inch 1080p IPS LCD. Traditionally, IPS LCDs from Xiaomi have been decent. They haven't been amazing. The Smart Note Pro 2, which I have right now, has a great LCD display. Traditionally, Xiaomi has put in good enough but not amazing LCD screens, which in my opinion, I don't really mind because that brings the price down. But if you're looking for an amazing LCD, you're probably not going to find it in the Mi6x / the Mi A2. Now, talking about audio, the thing about Mi A1 the thing about the Mi5x and the Mi A1 is that their audio was actually decent. Again, compared to my Smartisan, which has an amazing speaker, it's no comparison at all, but it has a decent speaker, good enough that most people won't complain. They'll listen to it and be like, okay, you know what, this is a fine speaker. And I expect the same thing here in the Xiaomi Mi A2, Xiaomi Mi6x as well. Now, talking about battery, this is going to be where it gets a little bit iffy. It's a 2910 milliamp hour battery. Before we thought it was a 625, Snapdragon 625, so we thought, you know what, 2900 milliamp hours is actually more than enough. You know, the Mi A1 had about the battery size of that and has Snapdragon 625, and it still got 10 hours of screen on time. But with the Snapdragon 660, that's going to be difficult because I have my Smart Note Pro 2, Mi Note 3, Zenfone U Pro, and they get 8 to 10 hours of screen on time on a 3500 milliamp hour battery. And if you combine that with a 2900 milliamp hour battery, that's a good 700 milliamp hours less, which means that you're probably going to get like 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, like assuming Xiaomi doesn't do any magic tricks or they don't downclock the processor to save power, which in that case you do lose performance. So I really don't know how they're going to manage battery life, because traditionally the battery life of pretty much every phone in the Xiaomi series, except for the Xiaomi Mi 6, I think, have all had great battery life. Just think about any phone you buy from Xiaomi, it's going to get great battery life, you know, 8 to 10 hours of screen on time. But this might be the second phone to, you know, get not so good battery life, which I really don't look forward to in Xiaomi, because the one thing about Xiaomi phones is that they have had very good battery life, and I hope they continue with that in the future as well. Alright, so the Xiaomi Mi A2 is going to come with stock Android 8.1 Oreo, And the Xiaomi Mi 6x is going to come with MIUI 9 and Android 8.1 Oreo as well, but with the MIUI skin on top as well. With the Snapdragon 660, you should see amazing performance on par, if not better than the Xiaomi Mi Note 3, because they've had time to optimize on the Mi Note 3, and they can carry over those optimizations slash tricks over to this Mi A2, Mi 6x, and make it better and improve on it as well. So that's something that you should have great performance, no problem at all. The Snapdragon 660 is not only a powerful processor, but again, like I said, Xiaomi has had time to optimize that CPU in the Xiaomi Mi Note 3 as well. And again, you're coming with a minimum of 4 GB of RAM, which is something that is more than enough for multitasking. If you want to open like 8, 9, 10 Chrome tabs in addition to 6, 7, 8 big apps, 4 gigs might actually not be enough. But that, I mean, some people do have that kind of use case. Personally, I'm not that kind of guy. I have maybe 4 or 5 tabs open at most. So 4 gigs is more than enough for me. 6 GB is a little bit overkill. At least for me, but if you need something like that, then 6 gigs is the model that you want. In terms of gaming, this phone should be very, very good. Snapdragon 660, 1080p screen, no problem at all. You should be able to play all the intense games at the highest settings. And considering that the Mi 6x or the Mi A2 is a metal phone, the metal body is going to act as a heat sink and pull the heat away, as opposed to having a glass phone where you're going to have a heat insulator which keeps all the heat inside and heats it up very fast as well. Talking about network connectivity, the Mi 5x and the Mi A1 had average connectivity for a Xiaomi phone. So the Mi 6x here is going to have bands 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8, which means you're not going to get any LTE in the USA. You might get some on AT&T, but really I don't recommend it because you only have one supported band and you don't have the major band that you really need. However, if you get the Mi A2, it's going to have bands 1, 3, 4, and 5, which are the important ones for USA. 7, 8, and 20. So that's a more global phone, and if you want to get something that works in the USA on T-Mo and AT&T, the Mi A2 is what you want to get. The Mi 6x is not, because the Mi 6x, well, obviously it doesn't work on the USA, and it also does not have stock Android, which I'm sure many of you watching this would prefer stock Android, especially if you live in the USA as well. The one thing that is missing here is going to be NFC support. I'm fairly surprised that Xiaomi chose not to include NFC, because NFC is actually gaining traction in China as well. So I really don't know why they would. I'm assuming they're saving money by not including NFC in this phone, which really could be a deal breaker for many people inside China, and it definitely is a deal breaker for many people in Europe and in North America as well. So very surprised that it's not included, but unfortunately you don't have NFC in this phone, and if that is a deal breaker, then unfortunately you should not get this. Get the Xiaomi Mi Note 3 instead. That one does have it. All right, talking about the camera here, it has a 20 megapixel and 12 megapixel dual rear sensors on the back with the IMX486 as the sensor, and as a result, theoretically, the Mi 6x Mi A2 should get better camera quality than the Xiaomi Mi Note 3, which is going to be very impressive if they do pull it off, considering the Mi Note 3 is one of the best camera phones I've ever used. It does struggle a little bit in low light, but in daylight, the shots are absolutely beautiful. Brimming with detail, color reproduction is amazing. I absolutely love the camera on the Mi Note 3. And looking at this, it should be amazing, at least as good as the Mi Note 3, or even better, considering it's using a newer sensor. And we'll just have to see how good the quality of the lenses and the optimization, the software optimization here is in the Xiaomi Mi A2. The front camera is where there is also a big improvement. It's a 20 megapixel camera with an IMX376 sensor. I hope it's wide angle. I'm pretty sure it is, because Xiaomi's not going to put like a telephoto lens on the front-facing camera, because that would be kind of stupid. But 20 megapixel IMX376, that's going to be a very, very good camera. So in my opinion, I think it's a little bit overkill, but like I said before, I really don't think there is overkill in the camera department just yet. We're still not at peak camera. So 20 megapixels for their front-facing camera is going to be great. People in China love their selfies and all their software to make their face whiter and less pimply, like my face. And many of you guys are going to enjoy the front-facing camera as well. 20 megapixels is going to be. Last thing here, this phone is definitely going to support 4K video recording. The one thing, it doesn't have OIS, so I don't know how good it's going to be. There was no mention of OIS, and I really don't know, because OIS was integral on the Xiaomi Mi Note 3. I really don't know what they're going to do without it here. EIS, electronic image stabilization, I don't know if that's going to be enough for a phone like this. So we'll see what happens when the phone does get released, and we'll see if they do change them. This phone is going to start at $250, or well, $237 to be more exact, $237 US dollars. Convert that to euros or Indian rupees, that's going to be very, very cheap, especially for a Snapdragon 660 phone, considering the Xiaomi Mi Note 3, which is, has similar, very similar specifications, starts at $360 and is on sale for about $300. So already regular price is $250. That's a good $50 less than the sale price of the Xiaomi Mi Note 3. So that's a very, very good price for Snapdragon 660. And Xiaomi, once again, is setting the bar for budget phones. But do you know why Xiaomi kept on leaking, information about their Mi 6x and the Mi A2? It's because they're trying to get their phone in the news, because there was a new competitor in town for best price to performance. And guess who that is? It's Asus. And Asus has their new phone, the Asus Zenfone Max Pro M1, which has a Snapdragon 636, which, is not as fast as the Snapdragon 660, but it's close. It's 70-80% as fast. Other specifications are pretty close as well. But the thing is, the Zenfone Max Pro M1 starts at $165, which is an absolutely insane price. That's cheaper than the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 Pro. So it looks like Asus is gunning for that, maximum value for money. And it looks like, for now, it looks like they're beating Xiaomi, which is a huge, like an upset. But that's good for us, it's good for you, good for me, competition, drag the price of phones lower and lower and lower, give us better phones for less money. I mean, who's complaining, right? So again, this is all assuming that the Asus Zenfone Max Pro M1 is a good device. Now, I would like your opinion on the Zenfone Max Pro actually. Would you get the Zenfone Max Pro for $165, or would you rather get the Redmi Note 5 Pro for $175? That's a $10 difference. Very similar specifications, but one is Asus and one is Xiaomi. So let me know in the comments below which one you prefer. I would very much appreciate it. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm very excited for the new Xiaomi phones coming out and general phone competition. Great for consumers, great for you, great for me. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the giveaway in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.